Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
Project Management Institute recently organized the 10th edition of Project Management National Conference in the national capital to acknowledge the power of project management in making a significant difference to professionals, organizations, society, and the nation as a whole. The theme for this year was India in 2022, leading in a globally disruptive market, where stakeholders came together to discuss not just how India can be placed in the forefront of global disruption, but also maintain the position once it got there. The event was kick-started with a welcome note by PMI's North India Chapter Conference Chair and President Manoj K. Gupta.
I have the honor of welcoming you all for this conference, and this is my second honor as part of PMI North India Chapter. So very excited, very delighted to welcome you all. We have this conference done every 5 years in North India. So this is our second attempt in hosting the conference. The theme for this conference is very relevant. There's a lot of disruptions happening in the market in terms of technology disruptions, a lot of new startups coming up with different new ideas. So a lot of disruptions happening in the market. We're trying to bring speakers from different diverse industries, different diverse backgrounds, who are going to come and talk about their success stories, the challenges they have faced in their companies, or in their departments, or in their, let's say, ministries, and how they have coped, how they have faced those challenges, and what they have done to come out as winners or worthy leaders in those areas.
Joseph Cahill, Acting President and CEO of Project Management Institute, presented a keynote on market and project to prepare India for 2022.
PMI is celebrating its 50th anniversary. So on October 3rd of 2019, we will be 50 years old. 10 years of this conference, 50 years of PMI, a lot to look back on and a lot to look forward to, particularly as PMI as an organization is transforming. This year, the India National Conference has a very appropriate theme for its 10th anniversary, India in 2022, leading in a globally disruptive market. Technology has always been the great equalizer and a catalyst for great change in our societies. Digital disruption is yet another wave of technological change that will serve to advance the lives of people around the world. Be an active part of this change through your own project leadership. Thank you.
PMI's Managing Director, Raj Kaladi, shared an interesting insight about disruption and its behavior pattern.
PMI already has talked about the talent triangle. Those key elements, the technical project management skills are today the basic hygiene, are the must-have. It's not negotiable. Those are things which are important. My belief was, when you ask for help, you are showing weakness. Today I realize, if you ask for help, you need to be strong. It's a strength. Asking for help is a strength.
Sanjeev Sanyal, Principal Economic Advisor, Ministry of Finance, shared his insights on the theme India in 2022, leading in a global disruptive market.
In this 75 years that we have been independent, or will be in 2022, the first 45 odd years were spent in a particular economic framework. And so the last 25 odd years of economic policy making has been by and large about the withdrawal of the state. Is this the only thing, the withdrawal of the state, the only thing we need to think about? I would argue we now do need to begin to think about maximum governance. And maximum governance has the institutions and frameworks of maximum governance have to be put in place before the next phase of withdrawal of government happens. But with that, let me stop and say that in 2022, we will have made a long series of progress towards becoming like the economy that the founding fathers of this country had dreamt. Thank you very much.
An eminent panel of experts, which included Brij Nandan Yadav from DLF, Ajit Mishra from Freight Corridors of India, Alan Spohr from Alstom, and Ashok Kumar from the World Bank, deliberated on the infrastructure project India needed to prepare for 2022.
As far as service excellence is concerned, I would say
so that was the first.
Apart from moderating a session on service excellence in India 2022, Sanjeev Bikhchandani also spoke to Lieutenant Colonel Ajay Bhattacharya about his entrepreneurial journey.
Sanjeev, let's start at the beginning. What really drove you to entrepreneurship? Now I was 12 or 13 years old, that one day I will be an entrepreneur. I will start a company, I will get into business. After college, I worked for a few years and then did my MBA. And I worked in the private sector in a multinational. And after 3 years of that, I did my MBA, then 2 years more in a multinational. So 5 years of working, I was kind of convinced that, look, I really want to be an entrepreneur. And we launched Naukri in 97. So for the first 7 years, I was drifting and doing a whole lot of small things. Why don't we take jobs from newspapers around the country and put them on the net and see what happens? And it immediately got traction and began to get traffic, and then some revenue began to come in, and then some, after 3 years of bootstrapping, we managed to raise some venture capital, and that's when really things moved. So right place, right time, worked hard, worked smart, got lucky. God was kind. But 7 years of drift before that.
Day one also witnessed giving away of the Project Management India Awards. PMI has been administering these awards in India since 2009 to honor excellence in the project management profession. This year, the award has been bestowed upon categories such as Best NGO of the Year, Contribution to Community, Micro Project of the Year, Small Project of the Year, Medium Project of the Year, and Large Project of the Year. The proceedings of day one of the PMI conference concluded with a special address by the guest of honor, Mr. Damodaran.
It's an extraordinary privilege for me to be here in the midst of members of as vibrant an institution as one can imagine. The energy levels, the enthusiasm, the excitement, all of that clearly is infectious. Excellence is being the best that you can be. You don't have to be the fastest guy, the strongest guy. That's not important. You have to be as fast as you can be, as strong as you can be. Of course, when you reach there, keep moving the goalpost so that you don't get stuck there.
The 10th edition of PMI's Project Management National Conference was recently held at the national capital. The conference theme, India in 2022, Leading a Disruptive Global Market, provided a platform for project managers to gain insights on how the country, organizations, and professionals could positively leverage disruptive forces. Day 2 of the conference started with a keynote address by Sister B.K. Shivani on keeping the spirits high in a world full of disruption.
There's been a lot of rapid change in the outer world. And most of us are helping people to adapt to that change in the outer world. But along with adapting to change in the outer world, I personally feel it's time for us to introspect on platforms like this. Are people internally equipped and are ready to adapt themselves internally to then adapt to the change in the outer world? So leader is not about what is the qualification and what all I have achieved and experienced. Leadership is what is the energy of the field, the aura that you carry, because only a pure, clean aura will empower others. The rest will only advise others. Two things is completely different. And empower matlab, aap jahan hain, aap auron ko bhi upar kheench lenge. And so if we eradicate anger, one emotion from our organization, we will be empowering everyone to energize their vibrations. They will go home happy and they will energize the vibrations of their children. And then together we can create in the next 4 years, first and foremost, eradicate depression and the list of mental health issues and create a country which is happy, healthy, ethical will not be a word then, and then wealthy. And then when we do that, India really has the power to be a lighthouse for the rest of the world. Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
After Sister Shivani's insightful session, the chairperson of Altigo Capital India, Naina Lal Kidwai, delivered a keynote address on global trends and preparing for disruptions.
We, all of you, are in an era where we have very dramatic change. Change which none of us can predict. The change that is coming to us in everything we do, in the way we work, to everything that countries, in fact, evolve to, is going to be about disruption. We need to focus on accountability, integrity, and sustainability. Because as we align with this aspect of growth, we are accountable to many around us. And that culture has to be one which upholds sustainability and social impact as a core value, because the communities around us are going to become more demanding. The community that exists around our factory is going to become more demanding. We need to understand the change. We need to educate ourselves and adjust to change. We need to recognize what we do not know. We need to keep learning. And I'll end with a favorite shlok of mine, which is Maha Stavira Sangarakshita. To know what we do not know is the beginning of wisdom. So, thank you.
Vikram Negi, Vice President Global Technology Services, IBM, explained how digital transformation could lead to a digital disruption.
One of the things which we all need to understand, what is digital transformation? And for a common man, like even for me and everybody, I think we all think, as we all studied this when we were in kindergarten, the story about the elephant and the blind man, which are trying to feel the elephant, and everybody has their own consensus that, what the elephant looks like. And I think that's exactly what the digital transformation today is to many of the companies, to many of us, when we are doing it, whether it is big data, cloud, all of the above, and how does this all come together? So digital transformation, so what is it? It's basically not just about technology. It's a whole customer experience. It's a whole change. It's a whole transformation which a company has to go through to give a customer experience. It is just not about bringing in the IT. It's all of the above. The computers are good at learning. The softwares can, learn, but they cannot have critical thinking. They cannot have a foresight. They cannot have, what human beings we bring in. And of course, this is going to be the biggest asset which we need to maintain and reskill ourselves, unlearn, right? And one of the things is we shouldn't be thinking that, artificial intelligence is going to take over. No, it is not going to happen, because artificial intelligence is going to help us in doing better things, across. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you, Project Management Institution, for inviting me. Thank you.
Chhavi Rajawat, Sarpanch of the Village Council of Soda in Tonk, Rajasthan, spoke about how disruptions can help in good governance.
There's enough disruption that we're seeing in businesses, in the private sector, at very many levels. But there's a larger portion of India, as we all know, that lags way, way behind. And if you're looking at being part of the global phenomena of moving ahead and making that disruptive force work for us, then I believe that each one of us has to participate far more than we are doing at the moment. I think what our country really needs is that participatory form of development, which requires for all sectors to come together and for us to stop pointing fingers at just the government and saying that it's the government's job. I think the government, while it has the intent, it fails in or lacks perhaps the management skills, which all of you seated here definitely have, which would be far more effective if we can come together and start participating in that role of development. Thank you very much.
Dhananjay Arvind Tambe, Deputy Managing Director and CIO of SBI, elaborated on how you can become an excellent project manager.
I believe that this country needs above all good project management skills. 3 areas where we suffer: project delays, project cost overruns, and quality of projects. It is possible to do it in this country. The only thing is you need to imbibe those skills. You need to bring those skills. And you don't have to go to Pennsylvania for learning that. Within this, it is all within you. It's all within you. You just need to bring it to the fore. If you can do it in your everyday life, if you can do it in your private life, why can't you do it in your public life? Just do it. I mean, I'm sure you will make a difference to this country. Right? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Co-founder of Robin Hood Army, Arushi Batra, gave a presentation on how one morsel can make a difference.
We're a zero funds, voluntary-based organization. And we take excess food from restaurants, from parties, from weddings, from events like these, and we serve it to the people who need it more. People who don't know where their next meal is coming from. People don't know if it's going to come at all. What I've learned so far is that a 2-second high five, a 2-minute chit-chat, a 20-minute proper sit-down talk, or a 2-hour food drive. What I've learned is that what matters at the end of the day is the smiles, the happiness that you're able to get from people. And so that's why we say we're in the business of spreading smiles. These are some of the smiles we are fortunate enough to get every time we step out and do a food drive. We're in the business of spreading smiles. I have to say that I say this on behalf of my entire organization. I think I am very privileged to be able to represent, but this comes from all the 20,000 Robins that do this day in and day out. Thank you so much for all the love and support, and hopefully we'll see you on the field very soon serving with us. Thank you, and have a great evening.
The event concluded with the disclosure of next year's conference venue by passing the baton.
I have one last ritual to perform. That is passing the baton on for the 11th conference. Hyderabad is our next conference, the 11th one. Hyderabad chapter, president and volunteers come over and take over the baton for a successful 11th PMI in the conference.
Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.